Joining us right here on the show is one of our favorite guests from the worldwide leader in sports in the Monday Night Football booth, and one of the best voices talking football on TV is Louis Riddick back here on the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm better for talking to you. You always make me smarter. I enjoy our chats. I say that right up front.
Yeah. I hope so. I don't know about all that, Rich.
I love it. Well, you know, one of my favorite
talks, man.
One of my favorite coaching cliches is I don't have a crystal ball, which means you don't either. But how do you see the next 6 weeks in the Packers Aaron Rodgers saga playing out, Louis?
Yeah, I think Aaron's going to be doing a whole lot of what he was doing just the other day, which is hanging out, maybe having maybe making a few statements now and then to some of his buddies in media, playing some golf. And the Packers better be doing exactly what they're doing right now, which is trying to figure out how to make sure Jordan Love is ready to go. Because, Rich, the more this goes, the more I see that the Packers have kind of dipped into the petty pool, as I like to say. Like, they want to go back and forth and have these, and Mark Murphy in particular. I shouldn't say the Packers. This really just seems a Mark Murphy issue. Wants to make these comments about Aaron. Aaron's not going to sit back and take that lightly, so he's going to make as many comments as he needs to in retaliation. It just seems like a situation that's going nowhere fast. And I think getting all the way back to why we're even here in the first place, I think it's because of this kind of thing that we're seeing playing out right now, which is a failure to communicate, a breakdown in a relationship. It's really not – it doesn't seem to be any more simple, any more complicated than that. And it doesn't shock me. I've seen it happen before in my time, both as a player and in front office. When communication breaks down, especially when you're talking about star players, man, that's just not a good recipe for healthy relationships in today's day and age, because players are demanding more and more. Player empowerment has become the norm. It's not the exception anymore, especially with the upper echelon players. And it's going to be that way across all sports. Football couldn't avoid it. It just couldn't. All we do in our profession now is talk about how the game is better, and it's better for us to talk about when quarterbacks are at the center or the centerpiece of the discussion. Well, here you have one who's a lock to be a Hall of Famer, and you've got someone at the highest levels of an organization getting into like a petty little fight with him. Well, I shouldn't say a petty fight because this is a big-time fight, but someone who right now can't seem to kind of manage a communication breakdown in an adult-like manner. And that's just that's disappointing, but it's going to stay in the news. We're going to continue to talk about it, but it's going nowhere fast.
Well, the question is if the communication from Green Bay at some point has been, and I'm sure we can agree that it has been, the question has been posed, what do you want? What do you want? And the question, the answer that might come back is something that the Packers can't literally or figuratively give. The literally thing is turn back time. They can't do that.
Yeah.
We can't get into the football DeLorean and set the time and date for the 2020 NFL draft. Can't do that. Also can't get back in the DeLorean and set the time for this past winter when potentially, if this did in fact happen, that the Packers did put a contract on the table for Aaron to sign as an extension, but did not give the terms and the dollars that would force them to make a move with Jordan Love after Rodgers is done with the gig. Can't go back in the DeLorean and do that if that pissed off Rodgers either. Can't go back in the DeLorean and fix the Jake Kumaro situation. Can't do that. But and they're not going to fire Gutekunst if that is in fact what Rodgers wants. They're not going to do that. What is it? Like what is it that he wants?
The only thing that I think inevitably what's going to happen here is he's not going to be there. He's just not. And I don't think, I don't necessarily think he wants to get in, and I like that. I don't think he wants to get into DeLorean, that being Aaron. I think sometimes, Rich, it just gets personal. It just gets to the point where you just say with someone or something, I'm done with it. I'm done. There's nothing, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't. Because quite honestly, while it was happening, while the breakdowns were happening, you didn't want to talk. You made your bets. You forecasted the future in a way that obviously turned out to be wrong. And in this case, they thought Aaron was turning downhill after the 2019 season. They thought that he had already crested the mountaintop and it was all downhill after that. And he has said many times that he threw a monkey wrench into their plans with the 2020 season that he had. He just did. He screwed up the whole timetable for them. They thought they could get another year out of him, and then they would be able to usher in the Jordan Love era. And it would be nice and smooth, and they would control it. And he messed it all up for him. And you know a guy like that, he doesn't want anybody controlling anything. He'll tell you when he's done. He'll tell you when it's when it's time to move on. He'll tell you when the relationship is over. That's just how he's wired. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, I get it. You know, I've always said, look, egos don't bother me, man. Everybody at this level, at the highest levels of whatever you're doing, has the egos. But they had a different agenda than he does. That's the problem. It's agendas that blow this kind of thing up. And I think he is just going to ride this thing out. He's going to lose a lot of money.
Yep.
And the Packers don't have to do anything. If you want to look at it from their standpoint, they don't have to do anything but get their team ready. The inflection points are when the season starts and then the trade deadline. And then after that, it's the draft next year. Those are the three key inflection points that Aaron is staring at right now.
So what about Rodgers? Because, again, the other thing the Packers aren't going to do is trade him now and allow Rodgers to improve for the team that acquires him, the draft choice that the Packers will have to accept now in a trade. They're not going to do that either.
Right.
So, but if we waved a wand and just said, the Packers decided to say, screw it, this is just not worth it. It's not worth it. He's a complicated fellow. Let's give the complicated fellow what he wants. What team would actually provide Rodgers with the 2021 lightning in a bottle that Brady enjoyed that might have also added to the agita to this mix?
What I really do think, based on the stuff that you hear when you put your ear to the ground, that maybe Denver could do that. Just think of the weaponry that they have, the improvements they made on the offensive line, the people who they have running the football, and then the weaponry they have on the perimeter, along with a defensive-minded head coach who can scheme it up and play top 10 defense on a consistent basis in Coach Fangio. And you have a GM right now who clearly, from all indications, is very interested in what's going on with Aaron. And is very interested in talking if the Packers really do want to talk. And why wouldn't? That's a legacy type of franchise out there. That's one of those pillar type of franchises that has been a destination spot for many players for a long time. Now, obviously, they don't come with the same cachet as they have in the past because they haven't had the same success on the field. But the Denver Broncos, look, that's a team that makes you sit up and go as a player, hey, this is one of those franchises that demands respect, that has my respect, that I need to really investigate and look at here as being a place that I would want to go to if you're a guy like Aaron Rodgers, especially, again, considering what he would have to work with out there. And he could make all the difference in the world with that young receiving core and that young nucleus, especially on the offensive side. I think that's exactly what they need, a guy like him.
Monday Night Football's Louis Riddick here on the Rich Eisen Show. Ron Rivera said today that Ryan Fitzpatrick, who knows, he could be the starter here for a bit. He used the words for a while. He could be the guy here for a while. Do you think we have an opportunity with the way that team is molded on defense and the weapons that they do have, that he could actually have a late career renaissance similar to what we're seeing elsewhere in sports? He mentioned, obviously, Brady, and Rivera mentioned Brady and Phil, and, obviously Rich Gannon could be another one, right?
Sure.
From back in the day with Gruden.
I think with Ryan, it's never about can he give you certain snapshots of greatness, and he's done that. It's the consistency. And look, consistency of performance, as you know, is the difference between being a starter and a backup. The difference between being a starter and a superstar, a Hall of Famer. It's can you maintain that level of performance over and over and over, year after year after year. Ryan can do it for 5-6 games, which really is the quintessential definition of a backup if you were to read an NFL scouting manual. A guy who can fill in for 4 or 5 games, hold down the fort until the regular starter comes back. And he'll probably win you 3 or 4 games, 3 of those 4 games, keep you above 500 in the time that he needs to play. So for Ron to say, hey, look, he could be our starter for a while, well, he hasn't proven he can do that at any of the stops he's been at in his career. That being said, I think Washington's the favorite in the East, easily to me. And people go, you're crazy. It's got to be Dak. Look, it's Dak, and it's Zeke, and it's the weapons, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, 1 through 52, I don't have any issues with the Redskins roster. The issue, if you want to call it an issue, is can Ryan sustain performance well enough to where they're a 10-win, 11-win football team? Because if they can get that out of him, where he doesn't cost them games, at the very least he doesn't cost them games, Washington is a problem. Because they are built to win early, middle, late season, and be able to win in the postseason because of how they're strong up front, they're strong down the middle. They've added weaponry on the outside that now can beat you with big plays and or a ball control type of offense. And you know their front four up on defense will come and hunt your quarterback down if they have a lead. And they're building up the secondary to where it looks much better as well now, especially with the addition of William Jackson in free agency.
In the 2 minutes
Washington's for real.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. In the 2 minutes that I have left here, it's not the passing game coordinator's job to announce a starting quarterback, but what'd you make of Brian Schottenheimer in Jacksonville's comments that it's too early to name a starting quarterback in Jacksonville?
Man, I don't know why coaches do that kind of crap, man. I really don't. I'd love to know what Urban said to him, like either before he went out there to talk to the media or after. I'd love to know what he said. Like, what's wrong with you, man? I mean, what do you mean? This isn't a competition. Urban came back to the NFL to coach this guy. He came back to the NFL because this guy would be available, not because Gardner Minshew would be there.
To beat him out, or give Gardner a shot. Give Gardner a shot.
I mean, you know what? See, that's what I'm saying. See, that's what gets media people salty and testy then. And then all of a sudden they want to start poking at you because it's like, stop BSing me, man. Don't do that. That's insulting me as a professional, and it's making you look dumb by doing that. And I like Brian, but hey, I don't know. Maybe he was told to say that. I hope not. But I don't know.
So again,
it's funny.
It's not a wide open spot for me. Now I got to see if it's a wide open spot that Minshew could take. Now I definitely want to see him on Hard Knocks. Now I definitely want to see him. You know?
No doubt.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, that's just, coach. That's the very definition of coach speak that we don't need, man.
Lewis, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Have a good summer. Let's chat dress before training camp. Let's do it.
No question. Thanks, Rick.
You got it. That's Lewis Riddick at L Riddick ESPN. I follow him. He's a must follow. Fantastic. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.